Hey, welcome back. This is Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle, and I'm gonna go see a movie. I'm gonna go see 50 Shades Freed, which is the third and final chapter in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy. Oh, I hope it's the last one. To catch you up, the first two films of 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker they were pretty abysmal films. Just boring and missing every mark. I'm not going to talk about those anymore. And hopefully this is like the last time I have to talk about this film. So let's go see how it is. I'll be right. Wait. Hang on. It's 50 Shades. I need to get ready. Here we go. I'll be right back. Well, thank God that's over. Yeah, it was as abysmal as I anticipated. Based off my experience with the first two movies, if you have experience with the first two movies, who shall go unnamed? No. 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker. If you have seen those, you know what you're going to get with this. You know what you're getting. If that's your thing, if you're okay with that, if you're happy with that, if you like that, enjoy. By all means, more power to you if you can sit through that and find some kind of enjoyment. I don't. There's no redeemable qualities. It's bad. These are just bad movies. Bad. On every level. Why? Let me start driving and calm down a little. Yeah, that's what I'll do. 50 Shades Freed and the 50 Shades franchise, the trilogy, all of them, commit what is probably the worst sin you can commit for a movie. When you're making a movie, the worst thing you can do, the worst sin you can commit is to be boring. It was mind-numbingly boring and dull, uninteresting. And a good portion of it was sex. They made sex boring. And it wasn't normal. It was normal sex, but it was supposed to be kinky sex. They made kinky sex boring. How is that even possible? And that's not even the worst part, even though that's the worst thing a movie can do. The worst part is that it was terrible. The dialogue was awful. The story made no goddamn sense. It was just nonsense thing after nonsense thing, and then, let's have sex. That's not how people work. I mean, I guess that's how some people work, but not interesting people. And the cast, the entire cast had zero chemistry. No, I take that back. Some of the supporting cast who weren't even important enough to the film to really make an impression on my memory, other than me sitting there going, well, that person's a lot more interesting. Why can't we have them? Why isn't this movie about them? They are so much more interesting. No. We get a a poorly performed, abysmally written soap opera with you could cut almost every sex scene out of that movie and it wouldn't affect the plot. A movie about sex is not affected when you remove the sex. Look, this is what happens when a writer and a bad writer, and I'm sorry if that kind of offends any fans of E.L. James, but she is not a good writer. She had her husband write the screenplay, and he is a bad writer. He has practically no. It's not like he adapted this book into an amazing screenplay. No, they couldn't find anybody who wanted to do it, and she, as the producer, bullied the studio basically into doing it. So her husband writes the screenplay, and it needed that screenplay is all just that's some of the worst dialogue I think I've ever heard, and I have watched a lot of very low budget independent movies. It would have been better if they just let the actors make up their own lines, and it probably would have made just as much sense. I don't even remember what my point was right now. I'm pissed off that movie is going to make millions of dollars, and it doesn't deserve it. It doesn't deserve it because that movie that's gonna kill careers. James Foley was if not an amazing director, he was decent. He hadn't done a lot that was really amazing, nothing to really stand out, but he wasn't bad. He didn't care. In this movie, when he did this, he clearly, obviously didn't care. There was no life in this movie. Everyone just walked through it, the whole thing, with dead eyes, and just sick of seeing tits and asses. And how do they make tits and asses boring? It's nudity. They made nudity uninteresting. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work as a story. It is just, nobody cared because it's going to make money. Stop going to see bad movies, people. Stop it. There are movies that people pour so much into, and no one sees them. But this, that the actors, the director, I am pretty sure the crew, nobody gave two shits about this movie. And they made it, and it's gonna have a nice windfall. It's easy money for the studio, probably easy money. I hope the actors, I hope Dakota Johnson and James Dornan get residuals. I hope they get a percentage of the gross of this movie, because they're not going to have anything very big come out. They're not going to be cast in anything substantial for a while. They're both going to have to go onto the independent circuit, find something, and hopefully get a good spot and a good role in a movie that's destined for an award. That's their path. So I hope they get some residuals, and I hope they made more than enough money to make it worth it. And, you know, Dakota Johnson, nothing against you, but at this point, I could really live going the rest of my life without ever seeing your tits again. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, but look, your breasts are now associated with these movies in my mind forever, and I feel victimized by this movie. I did not... Okay, I consented to go watch the movie, but I didn't... Once it started, I couldn't withdraw consent. I can't even make a good joke about that, because god damn it. If you stuck with me this long, thank you. And, you know, I'm gonna have, for both the previous 50 Shades movies, my friend Caitlin from Bleeding Cool, we worked together, and we would co-write a list in place of a review, because we wanted to have fun with this. We wrote lists of, you know, things better to do than watch these movies, and we had fun with them. We're going to do that kind of thing again for this, and you'll find that up on Watch, Play, Read. It'll be down in the video description. Might also have a separate full review. If I do, then it's going to be down there as well in the video description. Thank you for watching. I hope you at least enjoyed this. go read the review, and I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have seen this or are planning to see, if you're planning to see it, just know what you're getting into. Just know what you're in for. It feels longer than it is. It's okay. You'll get through it. There's going to be support groups for you. If you have, I'm sorry, again, support groups. If you were thinking about seeing it but weren't sure, don't. Your life is going to be better. Thank you for watching. This is Rants and Reels. I'm Kyle, and I will see you next time. Good night.